Eli. Great job on your Christmas pieces, especially on the Carol of the Bells. And I really like this one. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs. For this one, make sure in that scale that's almost a, let's see, in your song I think it's almost an E major scale or almost a B major scale. Make sure that the rhythm is do 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 do. So the last two notes are quarter notes. And at the beginning, when you're doing the main theme, da 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 da, let me hear some feeling and let me see some feeling in your movements too. So, normally you really naturally just kind of feel the music and, maybe you were a little nervous being recorded or maybe you were worried about the notes. So, have you watched your recording? That would be a really great thing to do. And see how you can make it more musical. So at the beginning, I would use the pedal at the very beginning. And don't have a breath between each do 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 do. I probably told you to do that, but don't do that. And the left hand is the melody at the very opening. And practice it. So practice without the pedal, making it very legato. And then practice it with the pedal to make it warmer and more mysterious at the opening. And you can have some more dynamics too. So start off very, very softly. And the far pedal on the left is the una corda pedal. And that means one note or one string, I think. And basically that, at least on a grand piano, it makes everything softer. And I still use it on my piano, although I don't know if it really works, but just, you can still use it. And at the beginning, use that as you're going E, D, C, B. And then when you do the two notes at once descending in the left hand, then you can let go of that. And by the time you get to the B on top and the E on bottom in the left hand, that chord, you should be at a nice forte or mezzo forte. I would say pretty close to a forte. And then the do 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 do, that part is forte. And check everything with a metronome so that you're going the same tempo throughout the whole piece. And then the most important thing to fix is that when you go very low in the left hand on the last page, you're playing a C on the bottom, but it needs to be E. It's minor, not major. So make sure you do that. And that one's very important to fix. Yeah, and then just really let your feelings out, let them, when the recital comes, if you make a mistake, make it a beautiful mistake. And, but before that, work out all the mistakes. But, just make it very beautiful because people love this song. Jingle Bells. This is a very fun song. Now, this is the opposite of Carol of the Bells. Carol of the Bells is or Ukrainian Bell Carol is very sophisticated and pretty solemn and maybe mysterious. And Jingle Bells, this version of Jingle Bells, is goofy. So when you hit those two notes that are right next to each other, that half step, really, really hit that like you mean it. And in order to not miss when you go down an octave, or when you go down after that first harmonic second, at the very beginning, well, and throughout, practice it with your eyes closed, that section. And then practice the measure before you come into that section later in the piece. Does that make sense? You can let me know if any of it's confusing. So practice it with your eyes closed, and then also practice with the metronome in the section that you're most comfortable with. Probably the dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, and see what that tempo is on the metronome. And then make it twice as slow. So cut the number in half and then subtract 20. And I know this is very annoying, but then practice the whole song. And if you do that in small sections, because let's face it, it's very frustrating to do it so slow in the whole song. And plus you need to do it a lot of times, and it's hard to do the whole thing a lot of times in a row if you're going that slow. Practice the whole thing in maybe 4 measure sections that overlap each other, and that will help your little mistakes of like bumping the wrong note or rushing or slowing down. And see how much of this you have memorized. I bet you have more of it memorized than you think. And that, since there's so much jumping around with this piece, I would recommend just playing it by memory. I make way more mistakes if I play something looking at the music than I do if I play it by memory. And you can also practice with the left hand chords. So right now it's broken. Do 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 do. 5 1 3 1 5 1 3 1, and which is actually called Alberti bass, just so you know. And practice it in chords. So all 3 of those notes, there's 4 notes, but one of them's repeated. So all 3 of those notes together at the same time, with and without the right hand. So you do all those things, and you will be ready to go for that Christmas recital. And these songs are very fun. So yeah, just enjoy them, and let me know how much you practiced. Next week or Tuesday is fine, and I'm sure you have lots of stickers to get.